SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
I thought we came in at halftime flat, to be honest with you, as a football team. Got things rectified at halftime. Third quarter, played extremely well offensively in the third quarter, 2 touchdowns. Couple big plays there. And then in the fourth quarter, the 2 drives before the last drive, I thought, we just gave up. The protection was inadequate. Got to protect better, and then maybe, got to play better. Right there. But an opportunity to pick up the first down, must pick it up. That could be the coaching decision calls or whatever the case is, but you got to pick up the first down. And on the fourth down, we got a yard to go. As I said yesterday, it felt like clock being as it was, that we should be able to get the yard. From a defensive standpoint, obviously played very well against the run. Little coverage on the first long one. Make a great throw on the second. Play very well after that. We're up 19-4. And they're able to put together a drive, helped by a penalty in the late in the third quarter. And then sort of back and forth in the fourth quarter there. We went. Matt Kaufman makes 2 field goals. He's the all-time leader in terms of streaks, I guess, in terms of field goals. But the bottom line, when you look at the program right now, as I said last night or yesterday afternoon, we need to fix the things we can fix, change the things we cannot. And, my function here is to lead, and our players need to lead, and our other coaches need to lead. We need to have our priorities in mind as we move through it. It's one game. Be concerned about the overall health of our program as we move forward too. So we need to keep pushing in the same direction. So we'll be all right. We'll keep pushing. Attitude is very good on this team. Big questions.
Mark, when you have players and coaches both referencing a lack of execution, and those players and coaches in the past have executed at a high level, what causes that to happen? If it was new players, it would be understandable, or new coaches. But both groups have a proven track record. So what's causing that?
Well, we have some new players in the interior of our offensive line. We have some new players playing in running back, with Ladarius playing in there. And he had a block he had to make in the one drive near the end of the game, pass protection wise. But so we had some young players. Blake Buter's playing in there, got his first start. Matt Carrick, after I think it was 2 plays, played the majority game at left guard. He's a redshirt freshman, so that was unanticipated in that regard. So on the offensive side, a lot of it, when you say execution, so from an offensive perspective, everything has to go accordingly. Whether it's the route or whether it's the read of a quarterback or a decision to move here, to slide this way in the pocket or slide that way. Whether it's your offensive line or your backs, running the ball, you've got to be able to run the ball. I feel like you have to be able to run the ball to some degree. We were unable to do that to a large degree, with the exception of these long run, 12-yard run, and long touchdown reverse, double reverse. I think that's where that comes into play. On the defensive side of the ball, our corner situation, playing young players at the corners. When Josh Butler goes down, we're playing Trey Person there. He makes a nice play doesn't get it out, throw and catch. So there's always going to be some people on your football team that are going to be inexperienced. Got to play towards that 5 games, and you wait for the settle on those guys a little bit so they can get more experience. But you deal with it.
The team was flat at halftime. Was that a surprise? And in what way were they flat? And did you also think they were flat coming down the stretch of the last 5 or 6 minutes on the sideline? I know that's something you put a lot of emphasis on early in your career at Michigan State about getting the sideline, getting the players on the sideline right spirit.
My feeling at halftime as we went in the locker room from when I was trailing our football team coming in the locker room, it was flat. Felt like we'd scored 6 points in the first quarter. Basically, you got the same statistics, almost identical with respect to the good game. I really understand why we would be flat, but I felt like the team in general was flat. And so we addressed that in the locker room. And players addressed that. Our older players, our players in the leadership addressed it. And we came out in the third quarter and played extremely well. At one point, I think there was 28 yards of offense that drive. There's some tough calls that went on in the game in terms of from the shooting standpoint. And I'm not saying they're wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying there's some tough calls, judgment calls that were made that went against us a little bit, and it played into a couple of the drives. Doesn't play into the overall outcome of the game. So I think I answered the question.
Did you think that they picked it up last 5 or 10 minutes of the game? How was the sideline? Was it satisfactory in that regard?
I don't turn around to look at the sideline to see how it's going. I just saw our football team going in at halftime. So I don't turn around and look at them too often. I'm concentrating on what's going on in the team. But I ask everybody to bring their very best. Talk a lot about everybody on that football team. That sideline needs to bring value to the football game, whether you're playing or you're not. Thought we got that in the third quarter. Don't ask me. I can't answer. I don't know why in the fourth quarter it sort of fizzled, because we're right there. We're ahead. We're right there, and then a couple bad things happen and we don't respond. So I'm not sure why that is, but that's called momentum, I guess. And we lost a little bit of momentum, and we never recaptured it. Even at the end of the game, we get down there, with 57 seconds left, first and goal at the 6. We put that in at that point, kick it onside, kick the ball back. We're capable of getting a field goal, tying the game up at 1. That was my feeling at the time. And with everything else that was going on, our hope.
Mark Solari, I know it's LJ, his situation. He's warmed up, gone through warm-up for the last 3 games and not played. I guess, how is that process to determine when and if he comes back and when and if he can play during a game? Has he been game-time decisions the last few?
Yeah, it's game-time decisions. He's making that decision, how he feels, his cutting ability, etc. Obviously, he's close. He needs to make that decision. It's not for me to sit there and say, you need to play. I think that's every individual player's decision to make. I think he's close, but I don't think he feels like he could cut as successfully as he usually does. So he made that decision, and I'm okay. Whatever he needs to do, self-ready at some point, he'll be ready to play.
Is that tough to manage when you have a bunch of offensive linemen maybe who are playing through injuries and don't understand the difference in the position?
I don't think it's not the same thing. And Darryl Stuart went a little bit. He was not as effective as he usually is. I think when you're carrying the ball, you need to be able to make sharp cuts, and you need to be able to move in and out of things when you're running the football and take the hits and all the different things that go underneath piles and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel like that's the case.
Got time for a couple more if you guys got some.
Yeah, Mark, Matt Charbon on Detroit News here. Joe Bocci was talking yesterday after the game a little bit about leadership and how the leaders on the team needed to get together and making sure everyone's on the same page. Are you concerned at this point that leadership can kind of take a hit when you have a couple losses like this?
I think as I talked to our leadership group today, we have great practices throughout the week. We have great energy throughout the week. Not sure why we got a little flat in the first half there, second quarter. Everybody has great intentions. I don't sense that at all on this. However, it does need to be stressed that leaders need to lead. And that's why I met with our players, and that's why I meet with our coaches, because that's what I need to do. We all need, people in positions of leadership need to lead. Because things aren't going well. Or when you have a moment where you have a setback. And that's what we'll do, and that's what I'll do. And again, my main focus is we lost the football game, again, that I feel like we should win them all. But you got to credit Northwestern somewhat as well. So, I mean, they played well. But at the end of the day, I keep saying it's inches. I mean, if Kenny Willikis pulls the ball in off the back of the one guy on the 10-yard line, we're probably going to take the lead again. But it didn't happen. Not his fault. He just didn't make it. And that could be said for any play out there. So my job and our job is to get ready to play the next game, and that's what we're going to do.
Hey, Mark, Matt Lenz with MLive. You mentioned the offensive line kind of reshuffling. You had Buter making his first start and Matt Carrick getting extended time. One, how much does that youth and kind of inexperience affect what you guys are trying to do up front? And two, I saw David Beadle with a sling on his arm. Just didn't know if you were going to announce anything about his status, I guess.
David will be out for about.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Mark, your audio went out.
Is this better? Because you guys are going out too.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
David Beadle will be out for probably about a month.
Okay. Mark, it's Hondo again. Quick follow-up. With someone like Treadwell and having Treddy back, is he somebody you have just to get an extra set of eyes on your offense to maybe get a look and see if he can bring any assessments to help?
I did not hire him to do that, so I'm not going to put him in that situation. We all look at it, and I look at it. We all look at it. I'm involved as much as I can be. I'm a defensive coach, but I'm involved, constantly asking questions and constantly giving some I guess you'd say, I don't know if advice is the right word, but some things that we might want to do and might want to try or ask questions of that nature. But offense becomes a complicated situation at times. If you look at Northwestern, what they were able to do running the football, they couldn't run it. They had a controlled passing game. The ball came out quick. He hit a couple deep ones. And, they were able to move the ball probably 3 different times. 3, maybe 4 different times. I mean, that's the nature of it. They got touchdowns when they needed them. And, so I'd like to say it's not complicated, but it is. It does get complicated to some degree. And I know that creates frustration, not just for myself, but for everybody else here and elsewhere. Okay, but rest assured, everybody's working extremely hard at this. And the main thing is I told our staff when I got up this morning after being depressed last night, depressed this morning, crawling out of bed, you got to get up and go. Every day you got to get up and go regardless of what goes on in your life. You got to get up and go. And you got to attack the next day. And that's what we're going to do.
Mark, John LeBlanc, News. I was just kind of wondering, Naquan Jones with that unfortunate conduct penalty yesterday. How do you first, Coach Tressel said post game that he kind of shocked about that call. First, what was your reaction? Yeah, and then what was your kind of reaction when that was called, and how do you kind of maybe coach the players or tell them how to celebrate like a big hit and stuff without getting penalized?
Well, I said we'll send that in and ask that very question. And I'm not sure. They got tangled up, legs were tangled up there, and I think he was stepping over the individual. So, but there's some things you cannot control. And that's the attitude I have to take with things. I can't complain about it because they're not going to reline things up for us and say, let's play that play over. So I always trust that everybody's doing the very best job they can do. But, frustrating. It's a frustration point, but got to live with it.
Mm-hmm. Mark, Chris Solari again. Do you have anybody with the numbers on the offensive line that you're trying to move over or move into that spot right now to increase the depth?
I think it's very difficult to move a guy from defense to offense in the middle of the season. to maybe make that transition. So we've got guys who guys who are playing at the twos, things of that nature. Carrick's up, Higbee can play inside at guard, and he can play at tackle. Cole chewing skins. Luke Campbell gets moved around. In there, Buter got some playing time, so he's going to be more advanced, as well as Carrick. He'll be more advanced. So we'll restructure things and look at it and play our best players. But I expect us to play and play well.
Had a bust there in the secondary for the first touchdown. It's something that's happened pretty much in every game. Not always the same position, but what is the communication with you in the defensive backfield or even the back seven with pass defense to get that tightened up right now? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as cover two is a two deep coverage. The corner's got to jam and carry the guy. He didn't carry him, and then the safety needs to roll off the hash when the ball moves towards him. And he got his eyes were fixed on the number two receiver, and he didn't cut the number one with his eye control. So he didn't get the width he needed to get to make the play. And, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.